Welcome everybody. Today we have the honor here of having Professor Akiyoshi Yonezawa offering us the seminar on a very interesting topic that's definitely many academics, policymakers, university managers, many different stakeholders are particularly interested in. I will leave the topic for Aki to present. This is a particular honor to have Aki here, since Aki hosted me when I did my postdoc in Japan, and I'm highly appreciative of his kind of welcoming and basically taking care of me in my first real experience in East Asia. So let me tell a bit about the presenter today. So he's a full professor and vice director of the International Strategy Office and special advisor to the president at Tohoku University in Japan. He has a background in sociology, and his research focuses essentially on comparative higher education policy, with a particular emphasis on world-class universities, internationalization, and public-private relations in higher education. He worked not only in the academic sector, but also outside the academic sector, including in the accreditation agency in Japan. He worked in different universities in Japan, both in the fields of higher education, but also comparative education and development. He also was, and I think he still is, but correct me if not, expert and representative of the country at the OECD, and basically he's a global, really a global researcher. I mean, he's someone that we can frequently see and see his presentations in the most reputed international conferences in the field. So without any further ado, and I'll pass on the floor to you, Aki.
Thank you very much, Hugo, and hello, everybody. It is great honor that I am invited to this the wonderful seminar and to have a kind of mutual dialogue with you. And today, I do not make a kind of just a propaganda of the kind of Japanese higher education, the policy, but much more try to have a kind of the mutual dialogue that what does it mean? And so that is my so the much more academic purpose-oriented presentation today. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, can you see that? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so this presentation is based on the three components. One is that the two publication. One is my recent publication as a chapter contribution in the very famous book of the Yunkevich, Autobag, and Salmi academic Star Wars. And that this is open access book, so that if you can you can download if you like freely on this. And then I will explain later, but the many East Asian cases are there. And also the other paper is again the open access, the Japan's higher education policies and the global challenges. And this is based on a special issue together with Professor Hugo Horta. And also there's some updates of the Japanese national government's program called University for International Research Excellence. And this is ongoing project, so that I have only limited publication on this, and it is still ongoing, but let me try to make some kind of update on this. And then the two questions of this presentation is that why does Japan need another initiative to another to achieve academic excellence? And the other one is is it a promising frontier project under the continuous pressure of the demographic and also the regional and global competition? Okay, so first, based on the academic Star Wars book, let me clarify the definition and the implication of the backgrounds of the ongoing academic excellence initiative in the leading countries. So in this book by the Maria and the Philip and Jameo, The Academic Excellence Initiative is defined as the special program sponsored by the government to improve research universities around the world. And these initiatives have provided billions of dollars to top universities and are perhaps most significant efforts to jumpstart academic research and higher education in general over the past half century. So that is the definition. And then 9 cases, including the 5 East Asian cases, China, Japan, Malaysia, South Korea, and Taiwan is included. And then the European the cases, including Russia. But the none of the major Anglophone countries like US or UK, Australia is not included. And also the Global South, maybe we can see some kind of the new phenomena ongoing, for example, India or the South Africa, but still it is not the very, very visible matter. And then the background of this, this book identifies, of course, ranking, globalization of science, and the massification, a difference of the higher education system, funding, mobility, and internationalization. But especially maybe globalization of science, based on a kind of English-based publication, will be the very, very crucial factor for the non-English speaking country, especially in East Asia. And then the Japan's profile on this matter is as follows. So the first of all, that in 2013, our Prime Minister Abe at the time declared that within 10 years, we need to have the 10 university ranked within the world top 100 as a kind of symbol of the recovery or the recovery, the revitalization of the Japanese economy and society. So that is the idea that he declares on that time. And then he really had a relatively long the policy ruling until the 2020. So under this relatively stable the regime that but unfortunately it was not realized. It is the last year actually. And then if you see the conclusion part of this book, there is a kind of table that shows the rating of to what degree each various types of the academic excellence initiatives was achieved. And then unfortunately the Japan's case is relatively one of the worst case that the effect of this is negligible. And if we seek simply the ranking position, maybe I have to admit that this is true. And why it is so that it is based on my own chapter contribution, but I identified as basically the lack of the consistency and the continuity in the government's policies, and the reduced funding over time, and leading to income diversification efforts, sometimes at the detriment of the research excellence. And then the various the initiative means in this kind of a very many initiative with a very small the budgetary scale. So the first we also tried some the BK21 type the funding research funding for the research unit. And that it is still continuing, that this is the Center of Excellence and the World Premier Initiative. And also the internationalization initiative. This is because that we admit that we are not international. And this will be the kind of burden of the barrier that we cannot have the international presence. And then the last 10 years, we had two main long-term 10 years project. One is Top Global University Scheme, or the Super Global University Scheme. That is mainly for the acceleration of the internationalization of the leading universities. The other one is the universities, what we call Research University Program. This is the in line with the Science and Technology Initiative. And based on that, what we are doing is that the government tried to give the capacity development of the research management of the leading university. And that money was done for the kind of developing the new types of stuff called the University Research Administrator to support the research contract or the research strategy and everything. So by doing so, we try to do that. Then the each items was then relatively rated as successful, but still it is not enough. So then we also add another types of the scheme called the distinguished status, so that we have now 86 national university and 800 universities in total, most are private. So that we try to make a kind of concentration of the investment to the very top universities for aiming that kind of trickle down effect. And our government designated a special university, research university, 10 universities so far, including Tohoku University. And but this is not supported by the funding, so that this is completely different as to the financial investment compared with the double first class university policy in China. So then what we are trying to do is that to have a new scheme called the University for International Research Excellence, UIRE, and it is planned to start from this year. And the Tohoku University is the only one candidate as the first batch. So the Tokyo and Kyoto, of course, they are two top, and not selected, but the Tohoku University somehow is selected. So that is what we are now facing with, and I will explain why. And then before starting the exact the explanation of the scheme itself, let me explain about the process of launching UIRE scheme. So how it has happened, and this is actually based on a coincidence, not a kind of very planned manner. So we have a kind of vague idea that we don't have enough financial investment, and we cannot do that because the very high level of financial debt in the Japanese government we are facing with. So this is the global general government gross debt as a percentage of GDP, and Japan is one of the worst in the world, and it is almost about 200% for long times, and then now which is reaching to the 250%. And you could see that that tendency has continuously grows, but in around 2020, it peaked again going to the further stage. So that has happened in Japan. And the similar things has happened in the G7 countries, and this is becoming worse. Not like Japan, but still, that peak has happened. That rapid increase has happened in 2020, and then it recovered. But in case of Japan, not really. So the reason why it is maybe you can easily understood that this is the effect of the agreement among the G7 countries financial ministries, that they need to have some kind of active the public expenditure to stimulate the economy or to sustain the economy under the COVID-19 pandemic, and also invest to the urgent reaction, for example, investment to the medical sciences or the pharmacy. That is the things was done. So each country anyway increased the public funding, and then the Japan also have to do that. But what we can do is that simply that we borrow more money. So that was happened. And of course, there are some other argument that we have many national saving that is based on we have a saving of the foreign currency like US dollar. So in the end we can pay back. That is the sometimes the lots of discussion, but the Ministry of Finance anyway to appeal that we have a lots of debt anyway. So under this condition, somehow the Ministry of Finance agreement of the Ministry of Finance that the Cabinet Office succeeded to set up the university fund under the Japanese Science Technology Agency under the Cabinet Office in the line of the Science and Technology Innovation Policy. What does it mean is that the Ministry of Finance need a kind of the opportunity to make item to how to use the further debt, right? And then somehow that the some leaders, both the governmental side, also the politicians, succeeded to persuade the Ministry of Finance that this is a good investment. So then this fund, it is the 10 trillion Japanese yen, 66 billion US dollars, it's a lot of money, is made as a kind of national fund based on the national bond. It's a borrowed money. And then the March 2021, the planning committee was launched under the Council of the Science and Technology and Innovation under the Cabinet Office. So it is a kind of all Japan across ministry initiative under the directly under the Prime Minister. And then this is the council has a very, very serious discussion from the very, very beginning that what is the meaning of the world-class university, like referring the German army and everything, and then try to understand the kind of the U.S. top universities. So to what degree the endowment size is different between the Tokyo University and the Harvard University, UC Berkeley, and then make a kind of the clear try to make an image by learning a lot of this. And then the operation itself is done by the Ministry of Education, MEXT, and it released the application guideline. And because the National University and the leading universities are under the kind of the supervision of the Higher Education Bureau of the Ministry of Education. And then the March 2023, the 10 universities applied. And you could see that all major universities like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Nagoya, and Tohoku as well participated. Means that somehow that all of the leading university almost agreed that this idea. And then the advisory board was appointed as a kind of the name is open. So the 10 members, including 4 from the industry and the 2 from the international members. One is the kind of very financial person from the United States. The other one is the former the leader of the National University of Singapore. And then the June 2023, last year, online interview to all 10 universities applied was done. And then the July, the site visit was done to the shortlisted 3 universities, the Tohoku, Tokyo, and Kyoto. And then the September, half a year ago, they announced that the final candidate only Tohoku University and the others are not, at least in the first batch. And then still the request kind of revision of the proposal in consultation with the advisory board and the governance. And that process is now continuing so that we have a regular meeting with the advisory board. And then they have a very, very detailed advice on this. And then we will discuss on this. And then the December 2023 that amendment the National University Corporation Act. So the new scheme needs some governance change and everything. So that they need some kind of a legal amendment as well. For example, they started to request kind of external advice, the governance body outside of the authority of the president. So that is a new thing for us. And then somehow that the industry legal system that without any kind of performance assessment, 5 universities are selected as a kind of large scale university. And those are Tohoku, Tokyo, and Nagoya, Kyoto, and Osaka. So apart from the project-based funding, the permanent legal request amendments was done for those special 5 universities. And then if everything goes well, that probably our university will be approved. So I'm in a very, very kind of sensitive position that, of course, as an officer of the university, I'm really happy to join and collaborate this project. And I'm an insider. But at the same time, today's discussion is much more like what does it mean? So that I try to be neutral on this matter, but much more like the external sociologist view. And then if you see the kind of very detail of the scheme, that is really the financially kind of high level elaborated one. So the very expertise oriented one. So this is done by the much more like a finance expert, not the university expert. And the very simple idea is that this money, for example, the 10 billion US dollars, and then this money will be provided 70% by this basic fund, and this money is based on a kind of the government has 10 trillion Japanese yen, and then they will make a kind of financial operation investment within the market, and then they can get some kind of the return of the annual return of the yield, for example, 3%, 4%, and then that money will be utilized for supporting the university. So that they basically do not use the money, but simply the return, annual return on this. But this is not only a part of this, and the universities are also requested to contribute to increase that budget, and it is 30%. And then in order to get this 10 billion US dollars, we have to provide our own capacity, home fund as a matching fund, 10 billion US dollar. By doing so that we can get that money. So how many we can withdraw from this fund is highly linked with the capacity of each university. And at this moment, what we are estimating that within our capacity, maybe we can get a 5 to 10% increase of the annual budget. So that is a very big money, actually. And so then what we can do is really what we are thinking about. Okay, so then the idea is as follows. So the Japan has not achieved higher education policy goals set in the 21st century or during the Abe cabinet in 2013. And then the 5 factors can be explained as a failure to achieve policy goals: insufficient university reform efforts, and underfunding of the higher education, aging of Japanese society, slow internationalization, and the underdeveloped reward scheme. So then the government make a kind of somehow made a new fund, 10 trillion Japanese yen university fund scheme, so to attract the top global talents, and then the comprehensive revision needed to accept highly skilled international workers and provide global careers. So then it will take a lot of time. So there is a necessity of the long-term commitment, and I think it is really kind of the very big the step or the good vision of the government this time, that it's 25 years. I'm not sure whether it's really good or not, but this is a very interesting that the very long-term view, 35 years, was set by respecting the nature of the science technology. So that is the very on the academic affairs. Okay, so then let me briefly show the what kind of the projects are the scheme. For example, Tohoku University's proposed. And this is very different between each university. And at this moment, only Tohoku universities are the final candidate, means that the only our plan is open up, and others are still confidential. Okay. So, and then under this condition that of course we do not rebuild everything, but this is the kind of the scheme we open up at this stage. And the first of course, we have a kind of background, but much more making a very, very kind of elaborated strategy, how to make our university internationally competitive within 25 years, and what kind of a financial investment and what kind of a strategy, everything. And so the why Tohoku University is selected as a final candidate is basically our strategy was really, really excellent. And the first we started from the mission, and so the of course the global engagement based on the research, and then we have a core value, the research first, the open doors, and also the practice oriented research, and the education for creating the social value. And then this on the vision, then we made a kind of vision to break down the impact, talent acquisition, and the change for the transformation. And then that based on that, we have, for example, also the commitment, impact, research excellence, impactful research and innovation. And then we set up some indicators such as the science input, like 10% publication output, something like that. So these are the kind of the indicators. And then also that we basically stress the kind of commitment to talent, so that we try to attract especially the early career researchers who have a promising the future. And then we try to give more kind of autonomy of them or the freedom for doing their own research. And by doing so, we try to make our university performance in the long-term view. And then for that purpose, we need to have much more international governance structure. And what kind of the things we can do is that we also try to make it a very, very concrete idea. And then we have a relatively kind of the traditional system based on a kind of faculty, the decentralized system like German system, so that we try to make much more kind of the top level interdisciplinary approach by gathering the across the faculties and the institute, and also the empowering the dynamic research ecosystem. And then we try to identify what kind of the social contribution we should do. And then especially we focus on a governance change. And the governance change is actually we carefully watch out what kind of a discussion is done at the national level to that what kind of the university governance is desirable. And the university, as I already mentioned, that the government is also making lots of benchmarking the survey, so they know the kind of in detail about what's going on in the the US top universities, including the private university like Stanford, Yale. And then that is together with the academics, and then we found that we need to have some external body, half external, half the internal. And then we set up the president leadership team, and then especially the government requested to have put the chief financial officers. So the government requests that the university have much more strong capacity to make a financial management, to make their own endowment by very accelerated speed. So some professionals of the financial officer should be there from the financial market. And then what is original for us, Japan, the Tohoku University is we also propose to have a chief global officer in order to accelerate the comprehensive internationalization. So that we admit that we are not really international enough. So that we need to have somebody, expert or leaders to accelerate our internationalization. And then we promise this kind of the indicators, but the 25 years. So maybe you can easily understand that all of the current leadership team members are not there, right? After 25 years. So that's kind of the one of the challenge, and also the kind of one of the kind of the relatively good excuse for not only for the university people but also for the government people as well. Okay. So then what does it mean? What does it mean as a kind of the sociological point of view or the policy science? Is it the new public management, the principal agent model that the government principal university treated as an agent, and then we make a contract of the very fixed the daily performance indicator level achievement? Not really. So the government do not know what will happen within 25 years from now, and that they want to have much more the kind of dialogue with the university and think together with this. So that is the idea. And then the university also make lots of collaboration, and then also we also would like to consult with how the society will think about this. So that is a kind of a much more kind of mutual collaborative dialogue. So the situation is now it is a kind of the idea of the multi-scale stakeholder engagement approach. This is not only limited to the university, but much more corporate governance discussion. So that gradually the discussion is becoming more like a long-term view. So that it started from the activism, so that disgrounded investors like government call for the changes in the organizational management university, right? And that is a kind of maybe a new public management approach. But it is gradually changing to the stewardship, so supporting long-term success that enables the sustainable prosperity of the founder. So if the university become rich or the kind of performing well, and the government will also, or the society will also benefit on this. And then the engagement, the purposeful dialogue between the investor and the universities for the mutual sustainable prosperity. So the idea is becoming much more transactional to the transformative. And so it is engaged directly with the diversified internal, external stakeholders more to the global and regional dimension, in addition to the national and local dimensions. This is a kind of beautiful story. We can say it as a kind of propaganda. At the same time, we also notify as a kind of the comparative education is that the Japanese society, including this university policy, has a different the characteristics. It is called the kind of All Japan initiative, and the All Japan approach is a really kind of the well occasionally seen the slogan if you are familiar with the Japanese policy these days. And let us make kind of very basic argument of the higher education research. So for example, Cloud's triangle, everybody knows that the academics, universities, and the government, the state, and market. So that these are the kind of three main actors. And then the university will take a position, decide a position based on this balance, right? So that is the idea. And then the Murchison-Rose started the new idea of the new global agency heuristics that the current the higher education system and the national state are much more in a complex environment. So think about the kind of national, global, and also local. So under this condition, the state and the government and the market, even market, sometimes work together. So that is the idea of the global agency heuristics. And then this is becoming much more polarized based on a kind of very big the challenge, the leaders, the leading economy, China and the United States. And the Jen Knight, in her recent book of the knowledge diplomacy, she as the authority of the internationalization of higher education, you know that she started from the education field, but does she think that now the higher education is already integrated the research and innovation policy at the kind of international relationship? So we cannot separate these. So that is one of the observation most of us sharing for this. And then let us think about what is the meaning of the academic excellence really. And maybe we still can say that it is the kind of intrinsic value of the academic or the university community. So the Homo academics by the Pierre Bourdieu is very famous, but this is a basically internal idea that if you are academics that you want to pursue the excellence, and because we want to have new knowledge. To create new knowledge, okay, or the access to the frontier of the knowledge. But this and the science and technology policy or the innovation policy is different. So that this is much more like the drive of the social system of the Japan, the East Asia modern state, including China, Japan, and Korea as well. This means that this is based on a kind of the very the beginning of the Meiji Restoration in the 19th century. The Japanese government started the kind of the slogan called Fukoku Kyohei, rich country with strong army, and this is maybe the very rational or the persuasive approach to avoid the colonization. So and then sometimes this is of course the other side is that tend to become a colonizer. But anyway, this is kind of the consistent idea of the Japanese government and society until the end of the World War II, and the university was modern university was built as the tool for this the policy idea. Okay, so then the science and technology is for the kind of rich country and the strong army, and then the academic excellence was for that purpose. That is why the government supported the university, and then of course they understand the university has to have some kind of autonomy and the freedom in order to pursue the academic excellence. And then after World War II, now it is quite interesting that the Prime Minister of Japan, just after the declare of our Emperor Tenno said that we are defeated, that he made a kind of statement that the Japan was defeated because of the weakness of the science and technology. So we was not able to make an atomic bomb. So that is a very fast declaration, and that is really the kind of the symbolize the kind of policy we have after World War II. So we want to have the peaceful country based on a very strong science and technology for making our rich society. So that is a kind of consistent idea. And for that purpose, what we can do, of course, that we deny the military regime for a long time. And then the stakeholders is now not only the Higher Education Bureau, but much more for as I mentioned, that the Cabinet Office, the Science and Technology Innovation, and Economic and Finance, etc. And then the industry. And then the university side also have internal stakeholders, but they are not always the same allied within the institutional system. So what the individual university leaders are thinking about, what faculty departments, individual faculty departments thinking about, and even the individual academics are so different among each other, and sometimes fight each other. So, and the student, unfortunately, is not really a kind of big visible the stakeholder in East Asian case, including Japan. Then let us think about what is the meaning of this, and maybe if I talk in Hong Kong, everybody knows this, but you know this system is a kind of Anglophone system, and then this is a kind of Chinese system based on a kind of Lily and Simon, and maybe I'm not really sure that whether really the Japanese system is a confusion, but maybe all Japan sounds like that we put ourselves within a kind of system anyway. So then let me go back to the two questions I raised. And then what we are trying to do is to make a two ecosystem for higher education. One is a knowledge ecosystem for knowledge creation through the science, technology, and innovation. So the university is a key component of this knowledge ecosystem in collaboration with the industry and the government to make the kind of the positive the circle ecosystem to develop the mutually. That is the idea. And we are also trying to make it to the human resource aspect as well. And then the both ecosystem may not function as expected, for example, due to the government and the insufficiency, lack of the policy coordination. And then the third role of and then the government initiative for the capacity development among the university leaders and the managers and early career researchers are appropriate if the ecosystem are developed within the respect of the university autonomy and the relevant coordination. But we need to think about kind of irony always that so maybe the Japanese approach is trying to make a much more functional frontier model based on a kind of a very, very strong alliance among the stakeholders within the Japanese system. But of course, the weakness is that we have more kind of risk that check and balance doesn't work. So that is the check and balance doesn't work. So that is one of the very big, the high stake we are facing with. Thank you very much for kind listening, and I'm looking forward to the discussion with you.
Thank you very much, Aki. Very interesting presentation, and we already have some questions in the chat for you. I think the first one is by Nigar. Nigar, you were online just moments ago. Do you want to ask the question? You're muted.
Hello, thank you for
Perfect.
presentation. Yes, I am sorry for my English, and I asked my friend, she translated my question, and I thank you.
So I think the question is, what about the role of social responsibilities and environment?
Yes.
Green education.
Yes, thank you so much. So we also tried just like the work done by for example Jenny Lee group, that one of the leading university, and we also tried to contribute to the global the challenges such as the environmental changes, and that is the one of the visible the commitment we are trying to stress. And then especially in case of Tohoku University, we are especially strongly committed to the disaster sciences because we are hit by the earthquake in 2011. But so that is one of the things. So that we basically benchmark the leading university in the world, and we are trying to pick up such a kind of a attitude that if it is beneficial for the many of the stakeholders of us.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much, Aki. Nigar, are you satisfied?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for asking the question. The next question that we have in the chat is by Wahid. Wahid, do you want to ask the question yourself? I don't know if Wahid is here, but I can read the question for you, Aki. So he says, in the context of Japan's academic excellence initiative, how significant is the role of industry, university-industry linkages, as university and government are more involved in IAE? Not entirely sure what this means.
Thank you very much. So the idea is that the two follows. So the first one is that the story is that the government and the universities are really expecting further kind of the financial commitment of the industry in order to develop our endowment in collaboration with industry. And the industry is also wanting to have more strong science and technology infrastructure in order to make Japanese industry stronger and the human resources as well. So then so under this kind of mutual understanding, so for example, Tohoku University is trying to make the co-working research institute. So the half funded by the industry, half funded by the university. By doing so that we try to make more visible that our collaboration from we already have a kind of individual level collaboration, but a much more organizational level collaboration. That is what we are trying to do.
All right. Thank you. The next question is by Vzevolod. I'm not sure if I said the name correctly. Do you want to ask the question yourself? We can't hear you. No. No, for some reason we can't hear you. I don't know why.
Is that right
Oh,
now?
yeah, now perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I had to switch from my earphones. So sorry for that. Thank you for a great presentation. And I was wondering, the first one is, did the developers of this new program consult international experts, and what did they take from those advices, if there was any?
Thank you very much. I think it is very, very important. So they of course consulted the national international experts, but the very specific characteristics of this consultation is that not limited to the kind of higher education university stakeholders. For example, the role of the higher education expert who knows the university autonomy governance is not really big, but much more with the kind of industrial people, science people, and the financial people. So that is really gives a lots of influence on this. So from that point of view, that maybe we can say this is a kind of much more wider scope, but let's focus on university academic matters.
All right.
Okay, good. Sorry, can I just get one more small question? Thank you so much.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. So, well, my other question was, so for the universities that were developing during the last 10 years and following this basic initiative and this goal of reaching top 100 by 2023, what did they do? I mean, like, there is also this dichotomy between, well, that can be perceived one, between developing for the rankings to reach top 100 or developing in a quality sense, developing within themselves. So did they do the second part and then they did not reach the first one, or was it neither this, neither that? We just don't have enough money. We just do whatever we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there are two factors background. One is that the new public management was really trendy at that time. So the performance-based indicator assessment, and based on that, the kind of the financial allocation is a kind of very kind of popular policy, not only in the higher education sector, but everything in Japan. And the other aspect is that it is a kind of very kind of the peak of the globalization regime based on the ranking. So at that time, everybody pay attention to the university ranking. And then that ranking is basically based on a kind of the very purely publication performance. And that this is now changing, that many government is starting to doubt the result. So then they stress more for the kind of the social contribution, innovation. But so it is before that. So under this condition that the indicators was used, kind of the convenient task. And then what has happened is that the people who are in favor of the science and technology research policy, and also in favor of the internationalization policy, make use of that opportunity that if they promise that we will improve the ranking, they can get funding this year, right? So that's a very, very kind of some kind of compromise among the different stakeholders.
All right. Very similar
Okay, thank you.
question, I think by Jason, but with a bit of a different kind of angle. Jason, would you like to ask the question?
Sure. Thank you, Aki. I think you basically covered a big part of these answers, but I was thinking about Korean case because we had the very similar these excellent schemes, but every time the government launches this policy, there's a huge national kind of internal criticism. It only favors rich institutions more and more, and it kills basically small regional less resourceful universities. So the government always has to launch kind of a parallel policies to support other small institutions. So I was wondering if Japanese government has a similar parallel policies for more balanced resource distribution, regional development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is very, very important. So in the last 10 years until last year, what we experienced in the 20 years is that basically the gradual decrease of the public basic budget to the national university. So under this condition, actually it was sometimes justified that they simply protect the top university without decreasing so much. But of course, there is a side effect that if you are in a peripheral rural the universities, the national universities, the drastic decrease of the budget has happened, and then they are forced to merge to the big one. So that was a very, very big criticism on this. And the new idea is basically that this is a pure increase, right? Or like pure further borrowing. So anyway, it's a very big opportunity. And then again, we had such a the idea criticism. So the government has kind of the in parallel to the kind of investment to very top university, the national separate scheme is a small scale, but to utilize that money for the much wider the universities. So this is a kind of the combination of the kind of the very big trickle down system and the bottom up approach.
All right. Thank you very much, Aki. We have another question by Nigar. Probably I can read it. She wonders how the Japanese universities of arts are funded. I imagine are funded within this program.
So the University of Arts, you mean?
Yes. How do Japanese University of Arts are funded? So I imagine probably how the arts are funded within this program.
What arts mean the really
Yes,
arts?
Yes, it's government program.
Okay. So okay. Basically, the humanity and social sciences tend to become victim always. So the government prioritize the investment to the science and technology field. So that's a very, very big issue. And the human and social sciences, based on the kind of the government, the university also acknowledge that issue. So the Tohoku University decision is that we do not give up the human and social sciences. So we encourage them by utilizing reallocating the fund internally within the comprehensive university system. But we have some very big, very small but very excellent Tokyo University of Arts, for example. It's a national university, and they are facing very big difficulty. And so they are kind of very much more like arts, like music or the painting, and then they are facing the financial difficulty. And this is becoming a very big social issue. And then for example, they are working with a game company or the animation, everything, but still they are struggling on this.
So I usually pass on to the next a person who asked the question, but I have to ask this question. I apologize, and then I'll go back to the questions of the audience. Everything seems very financial. I mean, for example, you mentioned that there is this kind of fund, and then the universities and the government are expecting to get the 3-4% on this financial whatever product or instrument to continue. I mean, there's this financial person that now will be in the decision-making process in a much more prominent way. My question to you is basically dual. Number one, what happens if this investment doesn't give 3%? What happens if the fund loses money? Then what? Does the finance instrument stops? The finance mechanism stops, or something else happens? And number two, can it be that due to this financialization, let's call it that way, of this program towards universities in Japan, we might be seeing the first steps towards a very complete transformation of the university in the country, in the same way that happens even with big companies such as Boeing, which leadership changed from an engineering quality perspective to a finance perspective. And we see what is happening with the planes at Boeing. So how do you see this from this perspective?
Thank you so much. I think you are right that we are kind of the unsuccessful industry that is accepting the much more intervention by the bankers. So that is a situation we are facing with. If you have a kind of bankrupt of the electricity company like Toshiba, many financial people come and then they try to recover the company, being a very, very financial expert from point of view. And that this is one of the cases that now somehow that this is a very big emerging market for the financial expert to come in to the university industry. And then they, of course, try to contribute to the expert based on their expertise to develop the financial capacity of each university, and then make it much more financial autonomous. So that is kind of the story they are trying to have. And then the government and basically support this idea. And the university also watch out what's going on in, for example, US university. There are many kind of huge experts who are dealing with endowment, financial investment. We do know, and we are halfway at least persuaded that we need such kind of person. But of course, this is we are not really sure that whether this is really kind of the possible to make a kind of the very good condition for the researchers who are in many cases not familiar with such a kind of financial matters at all.
Yeah.
Did that answer to your question?
Yes. All right. Thank you, Waki. Next question, Kitty G. You want to ask the question yourself? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Professor Hugo, and thank you very much for the Japanese presentation, and it's very enlightening. So I just have one question, because I just searched the information available online, and some of the universities have already been selected as the receiver of the funding, and this is a very large amount of money. So I'm just curious about the selection criteria, because in the public information, it's just announced as this is a board decision. So I'm just wondering if there is, any other criteria for the university to refer to if they want to apply for the funding.
Thank you very much. So there is a kind of minimum threshold indicators to select a candidate who can apply. And this will be around 10 to 20 universities. And for example, Keio University definitely have a kind of was possible to apply, but they decided not to. But having said so, that there is a kind of criteria that you need to have some certain amount of the publication, citation, financial strength, number of the students, everything. But then after that, the how to make a kind of the proposal is highly flexible. So there is no kind of the standardized format at all. So that this is really the kind of very interesting from the expert point of view, that the very creative idea is ongoing. That what is the meaning of the university, world-class university, how we can make the university management stronger than before. So it's a really kind of very big learning process, both for the experts, university people, and also the government.
Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kitty, for the question. Next question by Maria Yutkevich, relatively similar to the one by Nigar, but still, Maria, would you like to ask the question, please?
Yeah, thank you, Hugo. Since my question was mostly asked, I'll use this opportunity to ask a little bit more different question. First of all, Aki, thanks a lot for a great presentation and also for great contribution to our book. Your Japanese case really one of the key ones into the book. So I would have like a question based on two parts. First, could you say a little bit on the perspective of interdisciplinarity research in Japanese universities, which are part of the program? Because now there are many changes toward standard distribution of the disciplines. And what do you think would this program encourage or discourage interdisciplinarity, in particular joint research of social researcher, social science researcher, and those in engineering, brain science, and natural science? And my second question would be about inbreeding. Do you think this program would also contribute to the increasing role of inbreeding, because there are just small number of universities participating in the program, or on the contrary, inbreeding will go down because of their extra incentives in mobility and everything? Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. So the second question is relatively easier. So basically the inbreeding will decrease. That tendency will decrease. Simply that the market competition for the kind of acquiring talent is becoming very harsh. So within the last 2 years in the process of submitting the proposal, there are lots of the headhunting among each other, right? So some Tohoku University professors approach that your salary and the research fund will be doubled. So why don't you come to Osaka? Oh, no, sorry, the other university, right? So that really happens every day. So that makes kind of the very big open market, and it is also true for the international market. So that is what is happening. And the first question is very sorry. Could you repeat the first question? I just forgot.
It was on multidisciplinary research and its perspectives.
Thank you so much. There are two aspects. We are, as a research, frontier level research, we are much more focusing on the transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach, and that this is a kind of the ongoing nature of the science. And we also have lots of discussion, not only with the kind of government, but also with international publisher like Nature or the Springer, that the Nature science especially are the really key actor that, so they are now trying to launch the new journal for the interdisciplinary field. And then the one of the big challenges that if you do not know the context, that the citation rate of the interdisciplinary field is relatively lower than the very kind of established science like chemistry, the physics. So that is a very big challenge. So that we are discussing that what is the best way for make a kind of the much more encouraging the interdisciplinary sciences. And many people in this top level the discussion knows that the kind of the basic nature of the sciences or at least the current trends on this. And the other point is that the very, very important, and that if you go to the kind of very basic level, like the undergrad level, I should say that the Japanese system has more kind of industry oriented, applied oriented. This means that our kind of discipline training is not so strong compared with the maybe UK or the European one. That is a very big issue. So for example, if you go to the first year engineer student or the undergrad student in Japan, you first do some kind of cleaning of the maintenance of the machines in a laboratory, and then they master how to use the machine, and then how to do the laboratory work. But that time is spent for the much more kind of desktop level, very discipline level study in a European continental system. So this is pros and cons, but maybe if we are very strong in the international system, maybe we need to have much more kind of very disciplined training in a first stage. And then we need to have some kind of much more the interdisciplinary approach in the frontier research level. So that is what we are thinking about and what we are trying to appeal to the advisory board.
All right. Thank you very much, Maria and Aki. We have still some more questions. I'm going to try to ask all of the questions. The next question is by Ricky Salenta. I don't know if Ricky is with us. Probably not, but I will ask the question anyway on his behalf. He asks, what is the role of the entrepreneurial university spin-offs, etc., in Japan's academic excellence initiative?
Thank you very much. So maybe the entrepreneurial university is have many different meaning, but at least at the research universities are requested to be much more entrepreneurial than before. So that is what we are trying to do, and both requested by the government, but we also acknowledge that we need to have much more kind of autonomous capacity to manage our university more entrepreneurial manner.
All right, thank you so much, Aki. I will read the next question by Ethan, since something is wrong with his mic. He asks, it's mentioned that the target was set to the top 100. However, one of the challenges in targeting external rankings is that the adjustment of the ranking system of external rankings over time mean the adjustment of internal development goal, which also means that the consistency of the policy is fragile. What advice would you have for related freshman researchers to carry out similar research or policy analysis? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe the ranking game in a very, very simplistic manner, like 2010s, is over, and we have become much more kind of complicated world. So the ranking itself is now changing much more like fit to the much more the purpose of the social, like in social impact, and also the much more specified the indicators are more there. So that I think that the much more the promising area is that the kind of the how to make a kind of the sophisticated linkage between the indicator based on the benchmarking, so-called, and then the much more contextual or the strategic benchmarking exercise, and that will change that will be the kind of the area that should be much more promising for appearing as an expert of the higher education. That's my idea, but there should be many other different ideas as well. Thank you.
All right. We have one more question by Vsevolod. Do you want to ask the question quickly?
Sorry, the one about the humanities and social sciences.
Yes.
Oh, well, it was more. Oh no, it was more like my point that I wanted to discuss after the previous question. So just if Professor thinks that I have some some point, then that's good. Well, my point is that the humanities social sciences, they are disregarded usually. But if the program is in case of these programs, but in case of the program that is aimed at national goals, promoting it, they cannot avoid paying a lot of attention to it. So it is usually very strange that the programs do it, and maybe in Japan's case, this can be turned around.
Yeah, if I can pick up on this question and add a bit of my own comment. I mean,
of course,
innovation these days, and link it also with Maria's comment, innovation these days, even in companies, is increasingly multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, where the social sciences, the arts, particularly the design part, are critical conjointly with STEM fields to create new products and services. So I'm a bit surprised that this is not used as an opportunity by these kind of programs in Japan to really bring the universities to work at innovation at the frontier of interdisciplinarity and development of very complex products and services. So what's your take on this, Aki?
Thank you very much. Both of the two questions very critical, and let me explain in this way, so that maybe we need to distinguish the kind of policy level discussion and the practical level research practice level discussion. The research practice level discussion, we do know that the importance of the human and social sciences. For example, I mentioned that the disaster sciences are the kind of one of the leading area we are trying to make stronger. And there of course that the disaster science is much more like the engineering or the medical sciences, as a kind of larger part. But of course that we need to have lots of humanities social science factors, such as gender issue or the disabled people, what shall we do, and how to make a community. So that we do know that the importance of the social sciences to do together, and then that we also do support on this type of the research. And the national level, that is a bit complicated, because I try to be a bit cautious that don't take it as a very kind of stereotype and understanding, but the Japan has a history to make everything integrate into the military regime during the World War II. So that in the process, first we had a very strong policy for investing to the university, actually, in the field of science and technology. And the university collaborated on this, because for example, Tohoku University, they've established many research institutes. Tokyo University developed a new second school of engineering. And then during the wartime, but the human social science, the students actually was forced to go to battlefield to fight. But if you are top university student in a science and technology area, they remained as a student and work for the kind of military-related research. So they continue to do the research with a very rich funding until the end of the war. So that really, and then this kind of collaboration is done also for the private university. So the private university tried to expand the courses in science and technology, and then shrink it humanities and social sciences. So this kind of totalitarian idea sometimes have a kind of the experience what we have, not always the kind of failure experiences, but sometimes success experiences. That really happens in the kind of policy regime. So that is a very, very kind of big the background what we have. And of course that we know that this is have a very big problem on this kind of idea. And then the other thing is that the human social sciences, if it is linked with the nationalism, it is promoted a lot. So the Japaneseness or the Japanese studies things is highly, highly promoted. That is another very big kind of tendency that the nationalism type, the discussion supports the humanities related to the national identity. I'm not sure whether it is really good or not, but that kind of things are as always ongoing as a political level. But in the practice level, it is a quite different story.
All right, and we're gonna have the last question of this session, asked by Anders Carlson. Yes.
Yeah, yes, I can ask this question. So, but by the way, I work for Elsevier, and we publish together with Irides, multidisciplinary journal on disaster science. I'm actually going to ask about another funding scheme, a bit of loan scheme, the university bonds, because that's also a way to make long-term investments. What's your take on that? Because as far as I see, it's only University of Tokyo and Osaka University so far. Really interested to hear your thoughts.
Thank you very much. So the university bond is also another types of the opportunity that universities are trying to seeking, and then this is not only Osaka and Tokyo, but now the Tsukuba University or the Tohoku University is also launching. The Tokyo Institute of Technology is also launching, so that this is becoming much wider. And but the how to utilize it, in the end you have to pay it back, right? So the money is still not really big enough to make a kind of very big annual profit based on the investment. So I think compared with this 10 trillion Japanese yen fund, it is still the impact is much smaller. So that is my observation. But this is actually of course the leading brand universities can do that, and then if you don't have a strong national brand, it is very difficult.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Aki, for the presentation. Was really great, very informative. Really gives an idea of what's going on in Japan and in the mindset of policymakers, but also institutional managers and leaders. Thank you also to all of you who came, who participated, asked questions, and I hope I can see you in the next seminar, which is being advertised in the chat. All right, have a great week and see you around. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.